Hello and welcome to Head and Shoulders, where we cover athletes' performances and otherwise that are head and shoulders above the rest. And today we're about to talk about what happened during that 400-meter hurdle heat because between the men's 400-meter hurdle semis and the women's first round, the prelims, we had too many equipment malfunctions that occurred. We got a guy thrown out. Who knows if it was even his fault or not because of all the things that were there. We just assumed, okay, that's him. Now, what the announcers were saying, including Sonia Richardson Ross, the announcers, they were just saying, hey, look, the equipment is there, it's too sensitive. And that's what I thought it was. Remember when we saw, darn it, who was that got thrown out in the women's 100 meters, and then they put her back in at the last minute, literally right before the race. She couldn't have been warmed up. If anything, she should be, because she was one of the best 100-meter runners. You saw her through the prelims and semis. I mean, you saw her through the prelims. She looked very relaxed, very easy. It would be smart for Team USA to put her on that 4x1. But whatever happened, somebody must have been against her because they let her in right before the race. Why would you even waste the time to do that right before the race? Not, oh, we give you 30 minutes at least to warm up something. No, right before the race, they let her back in. So what we witnessed here was false start after false start, or not false start, was equipment malfunction after equipment malfunction. They started the gun, then they went back. Do you know what this does on people's legs? Let's give an image here of Dina Asher-Smith. It's just demonstration here. Now, obviously, you all know as coaches, for the coaches that are here, and maybe some of you know this as athletes, but I'm going to put this here on here. Okay, the energy needed to come out of the blocks. And when you're doing your start, I think I'm going overboard with these with that, but the energy that's needed to push forward, you only got a certain amount of creatine that's in your body. So that gets blown out. Boom. So that puts that specific heat at a disadvantage. Obviously, there could be false starts or whatever that occur naturally, right? But you really don't see too many false starts happen in the 400 on up. You don't see those because the point, the tenths of a second or everything isn't as crucial as it is in the 100. That makes more sense in the 100. It makes sense in the 200 because the races are neck and neck most of the time. In the 400 up, you don't see as many false starts. You do occasionally 5,000, the 10,000 has had it. I think at Rio, the 5,000 was a false start. The 3,000-meter steeplechase, it happens, okay? But for the most part, it doesn't. And when it does happen, over and over, you have about, 5 seconds of creatine that's free energy when you're coming out and you're using that. Now, what happens when you're using that over and over and over and over? Let me clear those drawings out. What happens if you have to do it over and over and over? Number one, you're getting out of the blocks as hard as possible. They're not giving you, oh, here's 3, 4, 5 minutes to reset. No, it's boom. All right, let's get you back in. 30 seconds, a minute later, boom, let's get you back in. Here's another one. And they had 6 restarts in that men's 400 hurdles. 6 restarts in one of the semis. Then here, let's come over to the 400 hurdles. Let's cover this. Sydney Mclaughlin made it through. She looked pretty easy. In her specific round, actually, that's the one that had 4 malfunctions. And then on the 5th try, they finally made it through. I have worked the timing system. This is what, if it wasn't the sensors, which I believe the sensors are just too, something is wrong with them. I think we should just do away with the sensors. I understand they want to have the sensors. You can eye out who the person is with the officials that are trained. That's been working good enough. It's been working with all the Olympics beforehand and all of these world championships beforehand is good enough to work now. Yes, I understand people want to quote unquote modernize or update the things, but it is clear right now that you see people twitching in the blocks in the 100. You see them still going back and forth, but only some people. I guess it's because the pressure of the foot or something like that. Hey, look, if that's the case, how many times did the pressure go off in the past? Well, I guess we would never know because they didn't have the sensors there, right? Well, okay, let's say that Dalilah Muhammad, she came out, right? And she was trying to run herself a good time. Let's put this, we're going to reuse this image right here that we had here. Let's say Sydney Mclaughlin, they're in the final. She's trying to have a good time. She rocks back in the blocks. She twitches her foot. She doesn't even go forward. They're going to charge that as a false start. She went back in her blocks. We saw Sha'Carri Richardson actually rock back in one of her races and really just come out very slowly in a race. She had a bad reaction. It wasn't even a bad reaction. The gun went out, then she went out. Same thing with well, not quite the same, but Elaine Hera, she came out and she just was relaxed. And when I talk about the athletes, I always want to put them up there. So we have Elaine Hera right here, Elaine Thompson Hera, and she came out very relaxed in the Jamaican trials. But with this, what happens when these overly sensitive equipments, they start malfunctioning? What happens if the wind blows into them a certain way? Did they account for that? Maybe that's what was going on. We don't know what was going on. And I'm telling you, as timers, they'll use everything else. I was a timer. They'll use everything else as an excuse. I'm not going to let up just because of that. I'm not going to let up because somebody might block my access to it. It is what it is. I got my own money. I'm very secure in what I do. So I'm going to tell it like I see it. Now, I don't know what exactly was going on behind the scenes, but these are the things that I've went through while I was doing certain meets. Okay, you see this right here. You see this, it has like let's say an ink pen with a top right there, right? This is the indicator. If this turns yellow, that means, or once this is here, not yellow, this would turn yellow actually. And this tells you that the time is going on. And let me circle this just so we get this emphasis right here. Yellow. Oh, maybe I need to use a different color. So let's undo that. So if this right here turns yellow, the time is going. Now, if this thing, and let me clear up all of these drawings. Now, if this right here, I believe is also yellow. My memory might be faded on that, but I believe that is yellow as well. Now, uh-oh, I just lost something in the frame. Now, if that turns yellow, right, that means that once the gun went off, there is a little sensor bar that hangs from that gun that then sends it through electronically. Obviously, everybody's coming into obviously delays of electricity and all of that. All of this stuff comes into play. The gun goes off, there's a delay of sound, blah, and a reaction time. So now that tells you that the gun is live and hot, right? Now, a couple of times that sensor bar might become disjointed, or the sensor might become disjointed. It knocks up against the wrist, or however it is set up on the starter. Some starters, they're supposed to have it in the standard position, but let's just say they're walking and it gets knocked and it bumps. Okay, boom. This could start the gun off. Now, while in the race, we will have a flag or something to tell them, or we have some kind of radio or whatever. It depends on how close or far we are from the actual starters. We could be on the other side. They could be doing a 200. That means they're not close to where we are, which we would try to be as close to the finish line as possible. Now, if that's the case, we would click that reset button very quickly. We would reset this and reset this back to zero. We would zero this back in. This would go back to looking like this. But some of the times it'll come up, we have our flag up, or we have to try to radio them, press whatever the buttons are, we will be communicating as quickly as possible so that they will have the second gun. That's where the green flag comes from. That's the equipment malfunction. Now, some of the times, let's say that it didn't bump them. Sometimes the sensor might go bad in the middle of the meet. You have to replace that. Now, this could have been the starter's sensor that was going wrong. The clock could have gone off first. I've gone through this where we had to rerun something about 5 or 6 times. And then what we winded up doing in that case, because this was at the junior level and this was qualifying for the nationals, USATF nationals, what winded up happening is we just said, okay, we've done this too many times. We give them a rest. We're going to now run the other heats after them, or the other sections, to qualify for the prelims. This happened during the 100. So this was 100 girls. I think it was 13, 14-year-olds or something like that, but that age group. And then we had to just say, hey, look, or the officials decided we're going to run them later, give them about a 10-minute or whatever rest. We're going to run the next section before them or after them. We're going to run that because they had to start so many times that drains out of your legs. How would the results have been slightly different? Now, I don't know if the results would have been different, but this is just something coming into play that we just got to remember here. Let me turn off the drawing tool, my annotation. Now, could these results have been different in these? Because some of these other athletes have run slower in that same section because, or in that same heat, because they had to start off so many times. Could that have happened in the men's 400 hurdles? I'm going to be willing to say, yeah, that might have happened with some athletes, especially with some of these times being so close. Some athletes could have faced it harder than others, where on their legs, hey, you're at the Olympic trials, you're in this race, and you're trying to give it your all. You could be facing partial injury, something could be happening in the background. You just have it where you warmed up just enough. Whereas here, in any of these extra excess, obviously everybody's probably prepared for a false start or two. But when it goes to start after start after start after start after start, man, where's the rest at? Can they get a rest there? Obviously, we got television programming, advertisers, or something like that. So that's probably not going to happen. But at some point, are we going to then go back? Because that's embarrassing. This is embarrassing for USA Track and Field, and at a meet that this does happen. I don't want to be too hard on them, but I got to just say it as this is, as I see it. I don't want to be too hard on these officials because they're working really hard behind the scenes to make sure these things go out right. And I even went over in the past about how these times get rounded up or down and how that works and how that function works. But on this one, I just got to say they have started this and it just looks really bad. Even the fans had to boo during that event. So at the end of the day, that's what I wanted to cover. And then I'm going to get into the Dalilah Muhammad versus Sydney Mclaughlin. Who do I think will get this? So Sydney looked smooth during that, during when they finally got the start. After 5 tries, they finally got the start. All right. Now, Sydney Mclaughlin looked very good. Let me see if I got her here. Shamir Little. She looked rather relaxed. She looked rather relaxed. All right. Ashley Spencer. I do not have a picture of her, unfortunately. Ashley Spencer, our bronze medalist from Rio. She looked pretty good. Now, where is Dalilah Muhammad? Our picture here. We have our Olympic gold medalist, Dalilah Muhammad, world champion, Dalilah Muhammad. An injury that was so bad, I really didn't think that she would have had a chance to easily make it through, but she looked rather relaxed and in control during the entire heat. So during the entire heat. So with that being said, what do you think is going to happen? This is heating up. This is looking good. Dalilah Muhammad is looking back and ready for action. I don't think that she's going to beat Sydney Mclaughlin. I just don't think so right now. Sydney Mclaughlin is there. Now, when it comes to the Olympics, that might be a different thing. But when it comes to USA trials, the coach even said, as I was hearing the announcer saying, hey, her coach said, look, she's ready a little bit beforehand. And do I have this here? No. This is the next thing I'm going to cover, the women's long jump. I got this set to 2019 because I had to check some information here. But that's the next thing that we're going to cover. Because Brume from Nigeria is leading the way. So I don't know. People keep saying I'm only covering the Jamaican trials or something like that. Man, stop smoking crack. That's all I got to say. Stop smoking crack. I'm covering all of these things, but I'm trying to cover it's only a select amount that I can. Now, when it comes down to this, Dalilah Muhammad is looking good. She looks like she could have ran into the 53s. She didn't need to. It's only the first round. She's got a semis and then she's got a final. She's got to conserve what she's got. But when it comes down to it, Dalilah Muhammad, Sydney Mclaughlin, those two, I am more confident that they'll make it through. If Dalilah Muhammad or if one of these other athletes, Cockrell, for instance, has a phenomenal race, because Dalilah Muhammad has been injured, I'm just gonna have to say, like, yo, she's the one that I will almost say that she's kind of like the weakest link. If I didn't see her run today, that's what I would have said. If I didn't see her run today, she looks very relaxed. Now, how would her fitness hold up during the rounds? That's the other thing. That's going to be the big question mark, because she was injured, took off from training. So instead of her being able to, hey, you know, I'm going to improve, it's like this. But she could be just like, hey, you know, Usain Bolt when he was injured some of the years beforehand. And then boom, he comes back up and then he takes the world championship title. So this could be one of the times. She's injured right now. She could even lose her own trials, her home trials. Just Usain Bolt didn't win his own trials all the time. And then come up and bam, she is the greatest female 400-meter hurdler of all time. Yeah, Sydney Mclaughlin might have her time in the future. Yes. But like I said, I'm just saying. Come on. Come on now. There we go. I'm just saying. This, I don't know what happened to this image. It was supposed to come up with my punchline and everything. But I'm just saying, you got the Olympic and world champion right here. Yeah, she's been injured. Yeah, she hasn't shown the form that she's shown. But here, only a little while. What's up with this setting thing? Only a little while later, and she's got her form and her fitness, or at least partially back. All right, I'll take an L on Dalilah Muhammad during this USA trials to Sydney Mclaughlin. I get her a strong second. I can't see her getting third unless she just really falls apart. If she falls apart, I can't even see her getting third. She just doesn't make it, because there are too many people that are ready to come up. Ashley Spencer, she's ready to take that. Where is Ashley Spencer on this list? I don't even see her on the list. Here's Tate. Am I thinking of the wrong person here? Let's look back at these results. Yeah, Ashley Spencer's here. I don't know how I just skipped her name up on that list, unless those times hasn't just yet. No, where the heck am I looking at? Unless they didn't update her. No, they haven't updated her time yet. So she's not even on this list just yet. So yeah, with that being said, we got an Ashley Spencer here. We got Tate that's there. They're ready. Spencer is the is a bronze medalist. Let's bring her up right here. Here we go. Let's go back to her results. Go back to 2016. Let's go back to the 400 hurdles. And here she is in the final. She is a bronze medalist for the U.S. at the Olympics. Now, I put the ball in her court. She is an Olympian. She knows what she's doing. She knows how to peak. This is going to be heartbreak, because I was already heartbroken that Corey Carter didn't get a chance to compete, and she was holding it very close to her chest about her injury. So Corey Carter had to announce before. Oh my goodness. Come on. I know people's attention span. You might lose me. Play it on 2x speed so that you don't hear some of these delays that are happening, but this is just like with the broadcast. Corey Carter, she's a phenomenal performer at the world stage. If I'm not mistaken, she is the world champion back in 2015, if I'm not mistaken, and she beat Dalilah Muhammad at that point in 2015. Now, I could be wrong on that one. Somebody correct me if I'm wrong. Let me go back to the 2015 season, or she beat Little. Where is she at? Or is that 2017? 2017. There we go. That was the 2017 season where she became the world champion in the 400 hurdles. And this really kind of like, oh my goodness. So she comes up with that with the win. So where do we see this at? Where do we see this at now with the remaining people that are there? We got Ashley Spencer, Dalilah Muhammad, Shamir Little. We got Cassandra Tate. Muhammad. All right, let's go back here. So Mclaughlin, for sure. The only way she gets out is injury, or just huge implosion. I don't know. She just looks too good. Muhammad, strong second. It's going to be between Little, Cockrell. I don't think she's going to get it, though. She's got to run the race of her life. We got Little, Cockrell, Tate, and Spencer. And if I had to put it there, she's been setting, Shamir Little has been setting PR after PR in her open race. She's been running some 400s. She's been running some 800s. You see her 800s here. So she's trying to get herself ready. She wants to make sure that she's ready with her strength. She wants her flat speed to be open. She's hit a PR in that. Here's her outdoor mark right here. She wants to make sure that her 200s are good. She's going all over to make sure that she has what it takes. And so, oh, that's funny. They got Shamir Little's time updated here, but they don't have Ashley Spencer. Oh, shoot, I clicked the wrong button. They don't have Ashley Spencer on this list. Or am I getting blind to this? She was 55.8. 55.8. Yeah, Ashley Spencer is not on that list. I wonder why. But yeah, so whoever's updating this list, you guys are doing a horrible job. Let me stop. But yeah, so it's going to be very, very, I would like to see Shamir Little just from an Illinois background. She went to school in the Chicago area. I'm from Illinois, from Chicago. So I like to see that, right? That's my stomping ground, Chicago and the suburbs. And I like to see her make it. But I can't count out, if I take my favoritism out, that Ashley Spencer is not ready. She didn't even try anymore. Shamir Little went straight by her. Ashley Spencer stopped trying before Shamir Little got there. She knew that she was well away, and she stopped going with about 110, 115 meters to go. She just said, shut down. I'm just going to try just enough and coast it in. And so we didn't really get to see a real fight there. Cassandra Tate, she's ready to have it. I don't know if she has it, but if it's anybody's time to get that, Tate, it's her time as far as to get it. So they even updated her here. Yeah, they got Cassandra Tate here. Am I missing something? Or am I looking at the wrong time? 55.92. Am I missing something? 55. I don't know what's going on. They got everybody else's thing here. Maybe they got to manually enter these and they haven't updated with that yet. But that's weird. Anyway, what do you guys think? Like, comment, subscribe. Let me know if you agree or disagree. And we'll catch you all on the next one.